Welcome to our Drive Chat interview, episode number 44. Today, we had the privilege of being able to talk about a subject that is possibly not close to everybody's heart, but it really talks to something that's really, really important to those who experience the consequences of road crashes and the fatalities that are associated with that. My name is Eugene Herbert, the CEO of MasterDrive, where we focus on behavioral change. Each year, we publish an annual magazine that is available to interested parties, particularly health and safety managers, fleet managers, and people who want to make a change and make a difference with regard to road conditions that we experience on an everyday basis. What this annual magazine is going to talk about is what the coroner's report doesn't say. It's a critical question because what the evidence doesn't show and does show in certain instances leaves plenty of opportunity for fleet managers and the like to act on. So what are they not acting on? So I'm joined today by Dr. Simba Chikwava, who's a forensic pathologist. And please do join us, Simba. And there's a few questions that I'd like to share with you. And of course, this Drive Chat is going to be made available on our annual magazine and through our YouTube channel as well. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, other than being an eligible bachelor and a father, I know, of a son at least.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Nice to be on this platform, and thank you again for the intro.
So just a little bit about your history. How long have you been doing this?
Ooh, I've been doing this for quite some time now. I think it's more than 17 years that I've been specifically in forensic. But before that, I did some corporate and some military health services. And yeah, my career has always been about presence of health, absence of health, and compensation of it. In the perspective of forensic, specifically understanding the absence of health and the consequences of.
Thank you. I know that many are going to be very overawed at your qualifications. So let's dive straight into it. This is going to be featured. There's a whole lot of discussion and commentary in the magazine itself about what your views are and what you've seen. So let's kick off with a question. If we had to bring what the coroner's report to life doesn't say, can you share some facets or something you know about crashes that never quite made it into an official report?
Thank you, Eugene. Basically, an official report is a descriptive report on what the body looked like after the unfavorable event, and it tells you what caused the death. Sometimes it goes into the manner of death, which can either be accidental, homicidal, or suicidal. But at the end of the day, it's meant for the judicial system to make a decision on the sequence of events.
So if I were to summarize, it's just facts. There's nothing that helps us understand the cause or what may have contributed toward it. So if we follow up from there, is there, let's call it a pattern of evidence that you would follow, that you repeatedly see that fleets, and remember, we're talking about fleets out there, so these manage multiple vehicles. Is there anything that they should be aware of, in your opinion?
Oh yeah, greatly. I'm sitting in DRC right now. I'm busy with fleets on a mine premises, and it's great work, very interesting work. I spent many years in Witbank as a state pathologist, and there were many fleets there, many vehicles owned by corporates, and many people operating those machineries. So yeah, in that environment, I've come through a lot. I've seen a lot, and the reports tell you what the body looked like, but way before then, we start our work from the time that the crash happens up until we get to the end of the investigation, which is usually the autopsies. But circumstances are very important, and we touch on it a lot, and it emphasized on a lot, and you don't see it in the report.
Thank you very much for that, because what our magazine is going to talk to is going to show the connection between telematics. This is the access to data that fleet managers and other individuals have. It's also going to talk about insurance data and the expertise of people that are managing that data. So in the magazine, we talk about it, and maybe you've got a comment over here. Why does the combination or the understanding of all those facets of critical importance?
You'll be amazed. Right now, I'm sitting at a mine in DRC, and we are reconstructing an accident after we've done the autopsy, and we're trying to even to understand what happened with the pure intention of preventing further incidences like that from happening, which includes legal compliances as well. So in my investigations, telematics greatest, we look at the tracking system. Where did this guy start? Where did he go? Or where did he stop? And eventually, where did we lose the signal, or where did he not stop moving? Greatest. The health and safety tools again, how was he prepared to get into that machinery? How did he interact with the machinery? And telematics also tells you how the relationship between the machine and the person, which is the body, were interacting together. And eventually it can give you insight into what failed or what led us to the uneventful consequences that led to this guy coming
Would
to
you
us.
mind if I just pick up on what you said? What led up to that? How would the analysis of data that's available on telematics kind of give us a picture? Maybe you want to address fatigue, etc. How would that give us a big picture of what could possibly happen next?
Look, the end result is you've got a body in front of you, and that's somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's relative who's not breathing anymore. And at the autopsy, I then describe what I see. But a lot happens before that, which is basically like the work I'm doing now. This guy was operating a vehicle underground. He came to the surface. He went to his residence. He ate. He logged in his card to be able to access the dining room. He then went back to his room, and then electricity went missing. The tracking system stopped reporting. He then went underground, and we couldn't trace those movements up until he was reported missing underground. So without telematics, the story of whether he was exposed to alcohol, whether he was exposed to poisoned food, whether he took medication because he wasn't feeling well, or whether he got into an altercation or an event which have caused him upset and exposed him to a dangerous environment. So what all these three facets tell me is for an uneventful event to happen, such as an accident, there is the body, who's the person, there is the vehicle, which is the machinery, and there is an environment that is involved. And the harmony between those three eventually gives us the reality of why a life disappeared and what we should do about it.
Thank you. I actually like that word that you used, how the life disappeared, because, you know, they remembered for a short while. The effect, though, is felt for a long time thereafter. I'm not going to go into too much more detail here with you because I want our readers who will, this interview will be attached to it, but there's so much more detail that we unpacked with you that I would like them to have a look at it and take cognizance of. So maybe just a final comment from you. What would your call to action be to anybody who is involved in fleet managing a fleet where safety is concerned? What is your final call to action?
My final call to action is there is a flood of information that is sitting, especially with people like me. I've done more than 12,000 autopsies in my life. And at this stage of my life, one can come with a reasonable deduction of what is happening, where is it happening, through who is it happening. And using this information, one can focus and zoom into one's fleet, one's people operating the fleet. And when an event occurs, how do you marry the autopsy report, the information prior to the report, which is not being shared, and then assist in increasing productivity through putting human beings into those fleets that can optimally utilize them? Then you can assist in making sure that the human beings that have come to work go back home to their families and live a decent lifestyle, and make sure that with the environment to which the fleet is being operated by a happy human being, it's safe to be able to preserve life and assets.
Simba, I'm privileged to have met you over a chance encounter at a lunch one day. And I do think this is one of those opportunities that I will forever appreciate, that has given me an opportunity to have insight or some insight into the work that you do and how this can benefit people at large. With that, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And until we meet again, let it not be by accident, please, and we can enjoy your discussion further. Simba, thank you very much. You do take care. So that, folks, brings us to the conclusion of Drive Chat number 44. Please make sure that you read our annual magazine. It's an opportunity to get an in-depth insight as to how those combination of factors, telematics, what the report does say and what it doesn't say, and it will in fact, not may, it will probably motivate you to take a different look at safety. So with that, we look forward to seeing you again at our Fleet Safety Awards as our premier event for the year. And thank you for watching this. Till next time, take care.